Terry Gilliam, the man, the myth, the monster. Fact: for every Monty Python film Gilliam ever made, the gods decreed he must atone for it by producing an actually cinematically impressive film.
King of the Britons.
And that's just what he did with Zero Theorem. Zero Theorem stars Christoph Waltz as a reclusive, mentally unstable programmer living in Lady Gaga's interpretation of England. Over the course of the film, he is slowly driven insane by his loss of hair, his job, and Bob, the killer from Twin Peaks.
That's Bob. Someone.
He is Bob.
But we're not here to talk about Waltz's luscious locks, we're here to discuss the cinematography of Zero Theorem, and damn if it isn't impressive. Rather than shy away from the digital age, as many directors of the past tend to do, Gilliam has embraced the advantages of a 3D generated world, and seen it as walking hand in hand with his fantastical set design. Generally, Gilliam borrows heavily from certain eras of art with each of his passing films. The one he often returns to is the Baroque era, and the same can be said about Zero Theorem. The traces of 1930s Italian and Russian futurism can be seen all over Gilliam's interpretation of a futuristic Britain, from his nuclear cooling tank labs to the strange, unfitting clothing people wear. However, these futuristic sets feel built and dumped on top of Gilliam's Baroque era, hiding the past to bring in the future. In fact, the main character, Cohen's clothing design and colour scheme heavily rebels against the bright, colourful style of the world around him. Living in a church filled with what could possibly be seen as props and stylings from Gilliam's past films, the world around Cohen has moved on. In fact, this can be seen in the moody opening shot of the film, where we see Cohen seemingly unaware of a ringing phone, his mind inside his own head, and, surrounding that head, a black hole on a screen. A void. Cohen feels cut off from the colourful futuristic world around him, his house run down and locked up just like his mind. Despite the bright and colourful feel of the future, the lighting still never fails to represent that gloomy British feeling, with grim overcast days and badly lit office spaces. The film itself gives this haunting overcast feeling that not a lot of these "the future is bad" films give. It shows you can and should slowly embrace modern technology through the cinematography and grading, slowly brightening and brightening as the film goes on and Cohen gets happier and happier, embracing the future. However, we can see the toll this takes on his mind. After he's been given the Zero Theorem job, the camera angles repeatedly start to shift to Dutch, and we can see Cohen, despite getting his work from home job, losing his mind. At this point, Bainsley drops into his life, and into the film. The editing slows down, the camera corrects itself, Cohen's mind corrects itself, bringing him back to reality. He calms down as he falls deeper in love. Can we just take a moment to commend Tilda Swinton for this role? Only Gilliam can convince her to wear a fake tan and put on the worst Scottish accents in Austin Powers.
We've spoken about your fears. Let's speak about your joys.
First things first, where's your shitter?
We enter a new segment in the film, a neon-filled demon sect. Bainsley whisks Cohen away into a world filled with lust and future technology. All in all, Bainsley is the complete opposite of him, created as a honey trap to entice Cohen into getting back on track with the theorem. However, this backfires. His mind falls further and further away from the task at hand, spiraling into the black hole we see multiple times throughout the film to represent his inner mind. His attraction to Bainsley is his downfall, and her bright and colourful life infects his dark, secluded world until it becomes the very thing he despised. His mind trapped in a perfect paradise where the sun never set and he has his luscious blonde hair again, leaving behind his physical body and his void. The religious imagery is not lost, especially since it's thrust into the background of every shot of Cohen's church home, some of it not as subtle as others. Cohen is like a servant of God, or management if you like, and Bainsley is quite literally the devil.
Hey, your hoof is on my sneaker.
Descending into lust and drugs. Eventually, as I said, Cohen falls to the devil. There's a constant representation of line of management. Joby, Cohen's boss, answers to management. Cohen answers to Joby, and the mice that constantly appear answer to Cohen as he inadvertently feeds them over the course of the film. A perfect example of priests answering to God, sheep answering to priests, children answering to sheep, etc. Enter Bob. Bob is the one almost sane element of the film, despite at the same time being the most insane. He is presented as the most human character among them, teenage child and son of management. Bob is given to Cohen as a workmate to get him through the Zero Theorem, but again this backfires. Cohen starts to care more for Bob as a child than he does for his actual job, and, like Bob, he learns about the world around him. There's a lovely moment in which Q and Bob sit under a multitude of signs in a concrete park talking. The signs would indicate this future Britain is one of Big Brother and heavy rules, as a lot of the film implies, but throughout the park, children and adults are breaking several of these rules. This shows that Cohen may have demonised the world around him a little too soon. It's not a dystopia, it's a utopia. No one follows the rules in society, and this future might not actually be that bad. If he got past the initial barrier of the world, he could enjoy it. Bob is the character who starts to show him this. Towards the end of the film, Cohen has everything taken from him. His downfall. Joby leaves him for getting him fired, Bainsley leaves him for not showing any emotion, not letting her in, and Bob becomes ill from overworking the theorem Cohen himself is meant to be working on and is taken by management. This causes the cinematography to fall into darker areas. Dutch angles once again start to creep in from the shadows. Grading gets darker. The colour green, which has been proven to be the most unsettling colour, starts to enter the film a lot more as Cohen loses his mind, his world crumbling around him for good this time. He lashes out at management, entering their computer through the virtual link Bainsley gave him him for cybersex, only to become trapped, his mind leaving his body. But the film ends on a calm, seemingly happy moment as he gazes out at the sunset, having figuratively destroyed his god and taken his place as he lifts the sun. We know he finally succumbed to the void and is now trapped in the digital world. He learnt to play ball with the future, and it took him mentally and physically. He became his own god of his own world, and you can see at the end of the film he's happy. He's finally in his own perfect paradise, and he's there alone. All he wanted from the very beginning of the film was to be left in peace. A technophile who's been sucked into the screen, quite literally. The shot and fade out at the end are entirely CGI, but honestly it's beautiful to look at, as is a lot of the CGI in this film, unlike certain other CGI moments in Gilliam's films. Though we don't mention Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas unless we have 2 bags of grass, 75 pellets of mescaline, 5 sheets of high-powered blotter acid, a salt shaker half full of cocaine, and a whole galaxy of multicolored
A salt shaker half full of cocaine? A whole galaxy of multicolored...
Zero Theorem is a beautiful film. Gilliam's combination with digital enhancements, these shots here are almost all digitally created, with his eye for set design and location scouting, give the film a somber and sad feeling, of that of an era past. But his neon grading and colouring, along with his wonderful choice of music, give the film a whirlwind, or black hole quality. You feel rushed along with the story, bouncing from scene to scene. No time to rest as Cohen's mind takes you for the ride of your life. The film itself was critically panned, but I stand by Zero Theorem. It should be on everybody's must-see list, up there with Brazil and the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus.